So, today's the day. After multiple delays, the Batman has finally officially released in theatres. I'm not watching it today, but what I will do is review the first Batman film starring Adam West, released in 1966. Okay, so if you're coming to this movie to watch a dark, gritty Batman with complex characters, then you are not going to like this film. You are not going to like this film at all. In fact, to really enjoy this film, you really have to be in a mindset for it. This film is pure goofiness and silliness. It's purely for entertainment. There's no real strong message here that will get you thinking. No real strong emotions here that will get you tearing up. This is basically just a way longer episode of the 1960s Batman TV show, and that TV show was also purely for entertainment and was targeted towards younger people and just anyone who wants a jolly good time, and that is exactly what I wanted from this film, a jolly good time, and it did deliver. And I know there's going to be people out here who just really do not like this film simply because of the simplicity of it and how it just feels like a good versus evil story and nothing really more than that. And you see, you gotta remember, this is 1966 we're talking about. There were not a lot of like live action movie adaptations of comic book characters, so you gotta remember that, you know, this film didn't exactly have a lot of competition. It didn't have to try and do something brand new that had never really been done before, because to tell you the truth, a live action adaptation of a comic book hadn't really been done before at this time. I mean, yeah, you do have that one 1940s Captain America film, and there probably are some more oldies out there that literally no one's ever watched or heard of. But yeah, this was like the best sort of comic book movie you had at the time, and it was surprisingly comic accurate. And I'm not saying, oh yo, this is like really faithful, because it's not really that faithful, but it's probably the most comic book thing you had out there at the time. Like, there was this 1940s Captain America film that was nothing like Captain America. He had no shield, he just had some shitty pistol. That was it, and he was nothing like Captain America. But this, you have Batman and Robin in their recognisable outfits, and they at least attempt to do some sort of detective work with this film, which is what Batman is known for. And you also have the villains who have the personalities that they had in the comic books, and with very comic accurate costumes as well. And while we're on the topic of the villains of the film, I love all of them except one of them, and I'll talk about that later. But they were like my favourite part of the film for me. Their chemistry was actually hilarious. Like, this film itself got a lot of laughs out of me, which is another great thing about it, and most of the laughs came from the villains. I think every actor does a really great performance, and yeah, I actually loved them. You know, characters like the Penguin and the Joker, they were definitely my two favourites out of the four. Not only did they have like the most comic accurate costumes, but they were just the most fun to watch on screen. And it was definitely those two that got the most laughs out of me.
Oh, hoist 3 degrees.
I certainly hope you know what you're doing, Penguin.
Mr. Riddler, I ignore your insipid insinuations. Huh? Mr. Joker, you're leading on the current control. Don't sound so bossy, if you please. My dear sir, as the poet says, on land you may command, at sea it is me.
Oh fuck, I love this film. Now, even though this is a superhero film that was released in the 1960s, it does not feel cheap. By today's standards, it might look cheap, but back in the 1960s, you can tell someone poured their heart and soul into this film. You know, this film was someone's passion project. Like, they really cared for this film, and they loved it like it was their child. Like, this is a 1960s superhero film that not only had things like the Bat Bike, which I mean looks hilarious, it had the Batmobile, which honestly, not even gonna lie, it is one of the best live action Batmobiles of all time. And I know it was in the TV show, but like, still, they had the Batmobile, the Bat Bike, and they also had the Batcopter in this one film released in the 1960s, and all three of them looked beautiful. Like, you'd expect one of them to have some shitty, lazy looking design, but no, they all looked beautiful. They actually cared about, what they were doing in this film. They actually wanted everything to look cool, and I got to appreciate that. This film just does look beautiful, like from the character designs, and also, man, the Batcave. The Batcave also looks beautiful. I absolutely love it. And the gadgets that Batman uses as well, like shark repellent bat spray, which is now like iconic with Batman, which is great. Yeah, Batman actually uses a lot of gadgets in this film, which I'm really glad about, because like that's what Batman's all about, gadgets. In this film sure has some creative ones, and even the villains have some cool ones as well. They are even faithful enough to Joker, where he has the electric handshake thing, and I loved seeing that. That was so cool. But obviously the best gadget in the film was obviously shark repellent bat spray. Like, come on.
Hand me down the shark repellent bat spray.
So, unless you have short-term memory loss, you probably remember me saying earlier in the video that I like most of the villains in the film. And all of the villains in the film are the Joker, the Penguin, the Riddler, and Catwoman. And the one that I do not like in this film is Catwoman. And yes, it is because she's a woman. Okay, obviously I'm joking here, but man, she's actually so annoying. Like, she says the word perfect like a million times in the film, and the only reason that they do that with her character is so that she can emphasize the purr part, so it sounds like a purr, you get it? Like a cat. And honestly, if she only did this like once in the film, I wouldn't really mind, but she does like a million times and it gets so annoying, and every time I hear it I'm like, yeah, I get the joke. And some other stupid shit that comes out of her mouth is like, I'm not even joking. She does that like a million times in the film, and it's like, bruh, that's something you'd hear in like Try Not to Laugh cat videos, not a fucking Batman film. And the detective stuff in this is god awful. I'm not even gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna show you this clip, and you can hear it for yourself. I mean, it's fucking bad.
Pretty fishy what happened to me on that ladder.
You mean where there's a fish, there could be a penguin?
But wait, it happened at sea. See? See for Catwoman.
Yet, that exploding shark was pulling my leg.
The Joker. It all adds up to a sinister riddle. Riddler?
So I think you can understand what I'm saying here. Anyway, apart from all that shite, I genuinely love this movie. I think it's a lot of fun, it's really entertaining, and it's just goofy as hell, and it embraces it, and yeah, I just love that about it. And it's one of the earliest comic book films ever. And I wouldn't expect a comic book film this old to really be this faithful to the original source material, because, yeah, old comic book films really didn't care about comic books at all, and this felt like the first one that actually did. So yeah, B- for the original Batman film, and wow, I cannot believe that Batman has now released. It's one of them films that sort of felt like it was never going to come out, and when it finally does, it's like, wow. Especially since the first trailer came out in August 2020, and then the film was still getting delayed when that trailer came out. Yeah, trailer in August 2020, releases March 2022, which, I mean, never often happens, Trailers usually release like no more than 6 months before the release of the film, but oh well. Yeah, I'm happy the Batman is now released. I haven't watched it yet, but I'll be watching it soon. Please tell me in the comments if you've watched it, or if you have even watched the original Batman movie from 1966. And yo, I find this weird that this is the first DC video I've ever done. Like, this channel's been around for 2 years now, and this is the first DC video I've done, and I'm quite a fan of DC, so That's weird to me, but I'm glad I've finally done a DC video because, hey, I'm a fan. Anyway, hope you did enjoy this review. If you like the video, then you can like it if you do want to, and if you like my channel overall, then you can subscribe and you put the bell on because then you get notified whenever I upload. But you all knew that, didn't you? So yeah, fuck off.